The question that I need to be asking myself is how is my connection with my partner, and what can I do to improve that today? It's part of my MVP. A lot of times, because this is so important, it's one of the big 3 areas of my life that if one of these 3 areas fail, I'm failing. Like it will affect me on all other levels. Do you know what I mean? Like there's these different areas. This is a core area. And so it's important for me to check in with Annie and to communicate to her how I need to be checked in with. Now, Annie's wise enough to know what my love languages are, so she knows how to connect with me and to bring me out of my shell. As I came in the room tonight, I was deep in the kingdom of the skull is what I call it, when I start thinking about, how am I going to come up with this money, and how am I going to feed these families, and how am I going to have this conversation with a client, and Dan. I go down the road, and pretty soon the noise is so loud, I don't really have time to talk. Annie's really good at cracking that nut by really connecting with me and really getting in front of me and asking me questions and holding my hand and just sitting with me until I work it out. Sometimes I don't want to talk. I just want to be in the kingdom, and I just want to work on stuff, the shop.
Yeah.
I'm up in the shop doing stuff. And so I guess where I'm trying to go with this is that it's important that you are sensitive to 2 things. Number 1, your partner's love language, and number 2, when to use it.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's sometimes when Annie shuts down, and I have to realize she's not shutting down because of me. Or it might be because of me, but I can't take it personal. I've got to leave her alone and let her work on it. Because if I'm going in there and being like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? She's going to be like, leave me alone. I'm just, she'll be journaling. And when she gets a pen out and she starts writing in her journal, I leave her alone. Because she's working on it. She's processing it. She's putting it together. And she's brilliant. She can work things through on her own without my help at all. I've realized that I'm more of a distraction than probably a help most of the time. But when she's doing that, I know that. And she knows that about me too. What's something about me, like when you see me going into the kingdom of the skull, like what are you doing to stay connected to me?
Well, I think it's important to ask, because I assume right away, this is a bad habit, but I assume, Rob's mad at me. I did something that I'm not even aware of. Yeah. So what did I do wrong? But rather than assume that, I ask, are you okay? Are we okay? I give him a chance to tell me if we are or not. And if he says, yeah, we're good, then I'm good. I'm not going to worry about it. I gave him the chance. If he lied to me, that's on him. I don't need to do anything now to change that, because just like me, he can figure stuff out in his head too. He's working on it. He's in the skull kingdom. He doesn't want to talk to anyone. He's just working through it himself.
How often of the times you ask me, am I actually mad at you?
Oh, it's rare.
It's super rare.
But I got to ask, does that work in reverse?
Yes.
If you say you're okay, does that mean
I have to believe her?
You have to believe her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's good to set this up with your spouse if she's a female, because we get afraid to talk about our feelings, because the men aren't always open to actually hearing about our problems. And so it usually happens early on in relationships that men have trained their woman, I don't want to talk about it. And so if you're coming to your lady and you're like, hey, are you okay? You need to really be open and vulnerable to be like, if there's something going on, let's talk about it. I'm in a good space. Because most of the time men aren't okay because they're up in the skull kingdom, or they're doing their own thing. They're working on their own problems. But if you're not going to be emotionally available to your woman to actually hear what's going on, she's going to lie to you. She's going to say, I'm good. And when she's not,
fine.
Yeah. So you have to break that old pattern and be vulnerable first and be like, hey, I'm sorry I've not been there for you when I've asked, are you okay? I really want to work on that. I really want to sit down. And you might be scared, because women do get scared. Men have big energy. And so it's hard for women to get vulnerable and have big energy when it feels like their person they're wanting to talk to is going to try to fix the problem, not hear them, or something else. So
did you hear what she just said?
Oh God, yes, I did. That might very well be the biggest golden nugget on the relationship advice for girls dealing with guys.
Guys.
I need you to throw an amendment in the start of this sentence, tell me, I just need you to listen to me.
Yes.
Okay, fine. You've given me my instructions. I'm your guy.
And that's what you need to ask. Is this, okay, hey, I want to talk to you. Your energy feels weird. Are we okay? Are you okay? Is there something I can help you with? And I want you to know that I'm here for you just to listen, or I'm here for you to help you fix the problem. You tell me what I can do. How can I support you?
Because my natural instinct,
Solve problems.
solve problems. You bring me something, whatever it is, I'm going to figure out an answer for it.
And most of the time for girls, sometimes for men, but for us, just talking about it solves the problem. I just need to get this off my chest. You don't have to talk. I asked Rob questions the other day. I was so mad and I was just in my head. I said, I don't want you to answer these because if I don't like the answer, it's just going to piss me off, but I need to let these out. So I just asked all my questions.
Fired them at me. And I'm going to tell you, it was hard not to respond. It wasn't, or I should say even better, react. It was hard not to react because some of the questions were just like, are you effing kidding me? Like, but this is what's in her heart and she needs to unload that. And I need to be able to receive it. And even if I'm just hearing it, not to solve it, just to hear it, I'm going to hear it. And I'm going to.
Well, but maybe for guys, understand that is a form of, like you just said, that is a form of solving it.
Yeah.
Right? My only amendment is if you could tell us that going into it, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
I will do whatever that is, but that is a form of solving it. Just sitting there and eating it.
Just so you know, as the man, it's not up to her to put the amendment in there. When she starts to unload on you, hey man, I'm feeling this. I need to know what am I doing here?
As soon as you start feeling like, oh, I want to fix this and help her solve this.
As soon as your trigger.
That's your trigger. Be like, okay, before we go any further, I need to know. Are you just talking this? Am I just here to listen and hear you? Or
do you need me to get the gun?
are we problem solving? Yeah.
Whose car are we taking?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I will fix this right now.
I'm there. I got it.
And it'll change your energy. If you are ready to attack and fix problems, your energy is going to get all amped up and ready to go. And that might distract her from even just talking to you. So when you feel that, just be like, oh, are we just talking about this? Am I just listening? Or are we going to fix problems? And if you don't have a problem to fix, you're going to relax and be like, okay, I just need to hear
Huge
her.
load off because now I don't have to be in active listening mode. All I have to be in is, oh man, that
terrible.
sucks.
I'm so sorry.
Gosh, I could say how you're mad about that, and I'm not coming up with any solutions. I'm just, let's let this water roll right off my back. Wow, that does suck. What can I do? How can I help you with this? Is there something? Just asking these questions over and over again. I like to ask, is there anything I can do? Because I think that sometimes that the problem solver could help. I could make this better, but she doesn't want that.
Right.